Machine learning, the latest trends in affiliate marketing in Africa.
Alec, Renzo, thank you very much for joining us. This is going to be, other than the machine, we're just going to sit and have a good chat. We're going to keep it natural. We're going to share about the insights. And I want to start off by asking you about machine learning. Everybody speaks about AI. It's a topic on every conference. It's everywhere you turn, it's about AI. But there's a difference in machine learning. It's understanding what machine learning is. Renzo, maybe you can start us off with just giving us a background on machine learning.
Thank you for having me. I think Alec's a bit more qualified for this, seeing as that he works on the data side. But I mean, machine learning is essentially that learning your consumer, learning your product, learning what people like and what they want to see. And on the flip side of it, learning of what they also shouldn't be doing. It's one thing bringing in data to bring acquisition and so on, but there's also a risk on the other side of pushing too much stuff towards the consumer. So the machine learning understands what each part of your platform or your product is doing. And so you learn insights of what to do and what not to do.
So maybe, Alec, you can speak to me about, in your sphere, what machine learning means to you and how you roll that out.
Yeah, absolutely. So AI is an umbrella term. There's many things that fall under AI. Machine learning is one of those concepts. And the way to think about it is AI is there to effectively replicate human type activities, largely around decisioning. But with machine learning, it's all around prediction. So being able to predict conversion rates, churn rates, that is the main specialism of machine learning. And while AI has taken a lot of the forefront, a lot of the attention, at the same time, developments in AI also mean developments in machine learning. And in fact, when it comes to practical use cases, it's in fact machine learning that I think is really taking center stage in our industry.
Yeah, and we see that happening with the likes of ChatGPT versus DeepSeek, that difference that exists, right? Am I on the right track?
Yeah, so that's largely around like conversational AI, right? So many of you in the audience will be very familiar with the likes of ChatGPT and then DeepSeek, again, many competitors around there. But I think this is slightly different, which is the fact that for the marketers out there, and in this case of you're bringing players into your brand, it's knowing, okay, how valuable are these players going to be? So rather than having a conversation with the machine, it's more about the machine actually informing you so you can make better decisions. There's still that human in the loop here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Renzo, I think you can then speak to what that means to scale, the messaging at scale while keeping the personalized aspect of it.
I think if you speak AI as a global thing and machine learning and AI together, it's a strong combination. So understanding the behavior, understanding and predicting what the consumer could potentially do, what they like in an online environment that is super overcrowded. During COVID, people consume so much content, everything looks the same. So how do you go look at your brand, your product, your service, your USPs, understand the consumer that resonates with it, understand what content they consume, and then go to your marketing team and say, okay, guys, this is the different personas, this is what they like, this is where they need to be, and then potentially use some AI tools. Don't go create ChatGPT visuals, please, but use some of the technology to speed up your marketing process. Use it for A/B testing, these things. Again, the data will tell you, okay, this worked, this didn't work, but now you can do it at scale, where 5-10 years ago, we could do A/B testing, literally one or two things. Now you can pump hundreds of stuff out there, get data back, get guys like Alec to make sense of it, give it back to your team, and then start running the second campaign.
And then speaking into the affiliate terms, speak to me about strategic alliances and your decisions of who you partner with when you do that in your field.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're looking from the affiliate side, but all around the marketing side is when you're picking partners, do they have a background in data and machine learning? I think the skill sets are absolutely critical here. There are many things, and you can easily go on LinkedIn and see loads of people talking about AI in various forms and various contexts, but the expertise is going to be extremely important here because one key aspect is if the data is terrible, then the output from your machine learning models will also be terrible. So having the right expertise, like regardless of how far AI and machine learning will progress, we are still the custodians of these technologies. We are still the ones making the decisions, and the quality of the people you have involved will determine the results you get from machine learning and AI.
In the same breath, what I want you to do is maybe just address some of the unique issues and challenges that we have in the African context when it comes to the data and to what you said.
Yeah, so on that topic is really like defining player value, machine learning algorithms taking in all the various data points and being able to know whether a player coming into your brand is actually valuable or not. No point spending lots on bonusing, promotions, when that player might just deposit once, play once, and then they'll be gone in the next instance. So knowing who to focus on, who to prioritize, and as well just being able to move faster. Like Renzo touched on this point, speed is absolutely critical. If you can move faster than your competitors, you have a very, very clear advantage.
I think, sorry, if I could just add to that, if we speak about just South Africa alone, and I think Leanne mentioned it earlier, is there's 11 different official languages in this country, which means there's so many cultures, so many different perspectives, so many different people who like different things. How do you take all of that and bring your brand to each person for them to make sense, for their frame of reference, for their type of content that they want? And this is where the data comes in. It's impossible. There's no more one size fits all. You have to accommodate each culture, each person, and you cannot do it without having the data. That data is everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we were speaking about what those common issues would be then to implementing what you've said into an affiliate world in getting that data. And part of it is the volume of data and understanding and having the expertise in that. So maybe you can speak to me about how you see it going forward. What's the changes that will need to, Alec? What will be the changes needed in the future to make that accessible, more accessible to the affiliate world in scaling?
Well, one thing, as I mentioned earlier, is about the talent. The awareness of machine learning, AI, having the right skill sets within your teams, and especially around CRM teams, if we're talking about marketing, affiliate teams, an awareness, but also more importantly, an understanding. I also think, like tied into that, what do we need? Often, with operators in this region, data is often siloed and fragmented. If the data is in multiple different places, it is very hard to build sophisticated machine learning models. But what we've worked extensively on, and something I've very much focused on in this region, is making sure that our models are as lean as possible, so they can work off the minimal amount of data, and making sure that we can get a working model up and running as quickly as possible. There is, I'd say, in this space, you can really do majority of the, let's say 80% of the work quite quickly. Yes, you want to fine tune the extra 20%. It's going to require extra expertise, extra money, extra work. But there is a lot you can do today that is readily available. And the technology continues to improve. But I think doing the basics is obviously fundamental. And that is something that is, I think, readily available and ready for the African market to take hold of.
And you spoke about the basics. And for me, part of those basics is the ethical use of data when we do this. Because we've got the ability to do so many things at such speed that we need to slow down and sit down and say, what can ethically be done? I want to hear from you how that happens in your space, in the marketing space.
I think the first thing that you need to understand is your environment. In Europe, there's GDPR, there's the POPI Act, and all these other things. Africa is a very diverse place, and in certain areas, regulation is different to other areas. So you need to understand the market, and you need to understand that your consumer, again, whatever you're pushing towards your consumer, is it good or is it bad? Are they a fair player, or are they just doing it because they like, or is there a problem? Is there any other issue? And the data can help with that. The other challenge that you have is, where do you collect the data? It's one thing trying to make sense of it, but where does it come from?
Yeah.
There's many people who just share things, but the tools that you use, where do they come from? Who uses it? What's the checks and balances that you do? Because it can have obviously repercussions after that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Alec, what I want you to do maybe is touch on some of the successes that you've seen, some projects that's done this well.
Yeah, absolutely. We are actually seeing, particularly in the South African market, the fact that operators are now able to personalize on a one-to-one basis. So I'm talking about, for you in the audience, you're very familiar with Netflix, logging in and having a view that is completely customized and tailored to your viewing preferences. We're actually working now with operators who are able to actually deliver a view that is specific to each player on an individualized basis. And this is something that has never been done before within this market. But as the data becomes more readily available, the machine learning algorithms are also available, but also available at low cost. The potential here and also the possibilities are fundamentally endless, but definitely one-to-one personalization, we are definitely heading in that direction. And that is something that is now a reality in the African market, and we're seeing it right here in South Africa.
So, Renzo, maybe you can touch on the differences in the different African countries that you see in AI and machine learning. The fundamental differences, only even at geo level.
I think, again, it depends on adoption. I mean, I was born and bred in South Africa, but we're always a bit behind in some aspects. If you look at the technology that's abroad in Europe and the UK and all these places, is a bit ahead of time. Again, the African market's very difficult to understand because we are traditionally skeptical about things. So whatever's online, yes, it's fine. But if I don't recognize a face or my friend doesn't tell me about a brand, I'll always take a look at it. That's why below the line marketing here is so strong. Outdoor TV, these things. So first understanding the market, first understanding the different regions. What happens in South Africa is way different to what happens in Nigeria, what happens in Kenya, etc. So again, before anybody wants to take on Africa, first start in a place, understand that region, find right partners, understand your consumer, and then build through there.
And I think it's been a discussion point and something that's raised on every single panel I've listened to, is that individualization. Like whether it's done in machine learning, whether it's done in traditional marketing, whether it's done in operator branding, every single time that has come up, the individualization. What I would want to do is spend maybe a 90-second view on the way forward, what the future will look like. And maybe we can start with you, Alec. Maybe give me a net.
Yeah, I definitely see, and it's happening right now, the application of machine learning algorithms. On one case for personalization on an individual level, but that can mean curating content for specific audiences, right? Like we mentioned about different markets, different preferences, maybe preference for different sports, in fact, and that ability to curate to individual users, but also for the marketing teams themselves. Just having better data, better understanding of their players, I think is a two-way street. All right, we can deliver better experiences, but in order to deliver better experiences, marketing team need to know more about their players, and machine learning can help on both aspects. So it's an internal and an external aspect. But I'm very bullish on the African market, and we're seeing some fantastic progress. And I think as a whole, things will continue to develop. We mentioned about siloed data, but we've worked with many clients in order to address that. And I think we're really at a transitionary point now, where we're starting to see some of the technologies that are used in more developed markets now being applied here with great success.
Brilliant.
Well said. I think from my perspective, where we work with a marketing team and an affiliate team, a bunch of creatives, the data side of it becomes your life now, because as a marketing team or an affiliate team, you want people to consume your content. You want them to participate and engage with what you've created, because it takes a lot of time. It's not just put anything on Instagram and everybody likes it anymore. You have to personalize. And a team of marketeers can't do that without the data. So the more we get data, the more we get to understand the different people, what they like, where they like it, how they like it, the easier it is for marketing teams and affiliate teams to create that content that speaks to the individual. Again, one size doesn't fit all anymore. And the more data we can collect, the more personalized we can make things, the more we use these AI and machine learning tools, the better we can produce content, the better we can engage people.
Team, thank you very much. And I want to tell you, it's been a fascinating discussion for me. I hope you've learned just as much. and there's opportunity to interact with the panelists after this. Thank you very much to Alec. Thank you very much to Renzo.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.